welcome back to You Can't Make This Up. Hey, had a break for a couple of weeks and we are live. Send in your responses. I'm not sure if you do questions during You Can't Make This Up, but so much to talk about. Hey, before I forget about it, if you can, join us in Las Vegas at Pastor Kurt Reed's church for the Blazing Saddles Conference coming up. Let's see, January 17, 18, 19. That is a week from tomorrow. It begins Friday night. It's beginning. It's going to be great. Pastor Brandon, Pastor Billy, Pastor Kurt, Don Perkins, and myself, we're all going to be there. Friday, all day Saturday, Sunday, pretty much all day Sunday too. Join us live and in person if you can. Check out the info. If you can't join us in person, you can register online, but we'd love to have you join us. It's going to be a great conference. Again, feel free to send in your comments during this live. You can't make this up. Do appreciate your prayers also. We have a mission trip to Mexico. We actually, a group of us, we are leaving tonight. And you know, we're going way down south, and it's going to be an experience. It's one of our 412 church plants that Hope for Our Times helped start that we are involved with. And so we're going to be heading down there. It's going to be great. We have a few of them down in Mexico, but this one's way down at the tip of Baja, California, way down south. And we got to take one of those planes. You know, we're hoping it doesn't have chickens and billy goats on one of those planes. You know those kind you see. So we're going to find out. We're leaving tonight, but really appreciate your prayers for that. Okay. Thank you. No, Frank Ebel. I do not have pants to match. This is the Billy Crone edition jacket. Thank you, Billy. He sent it to me, hoping I would wear it outside of this. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but we'll see. Who knows? I might have to take it to Vegas with me. He'd be so happy if I did. No, I don't have matching pants. What a terrible question that was. Okay, let's move on. So let's get with some serious news, with some You Can't Make This Up, because there's a lot of You Can't Make This Up with some of the stuff that's going on. So let's start here. Check out this first video. This is no water for the firemen in Los Angeles. Hello? Check this out.
We saw an apartment building engulfed in flames. I saw the fire engine pull up this afternoon. A fire captain have one of his firefighters attach a hose to a hydrant, and that hose didn't fill up, Alex. And I asked the captain, out of every 10 hydrants you attach to today, on average, how many are you getting full water from? He says little to none. And it was at that point that really the whole crew stopped, looked up at this apartment building, and they realized there was nothing they could do except...
Nothing they could do. Wow, you look at that. No, you can't make this up. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, you guys don't need any fire equipment. We'll send that to Ukraine, which she did. Let's cut off the water. This is what happens when you have DEI hires in, by the way, DEI neighborhoods. The neighborhoods that have been on fire. It's very sad. It's horrible. Loss of life. All these things are horrible. But listen, the greatest horror of all is loss of spiritual life. And hopefully people will wake up from this. But these are people, the woke, this is like the woke headquarters is where these neighborhoods are. And they've voted in these people to run their country. No, we don't need, get rid of the police, get rid of the fire. We don't need this, we don't need that. Guess what? Now they're got to deal with their very policies. They're the ones who drove voting Gavin Newsom into the state of California. The fine governor he is. It's awful, but nevertheless, Pookie says, hey, his family in Chino Hills got their power back 2 hours ago. Yes, how about your area, Tommy? Pookie, yes, we got our power back here. We are able to start again this morning. By the way, filmed at his channel with Patrick Wood today, and it was real sketchy. Patrick had to take over most of the program because we just couldn't get the connection because his channel actually has to route through Los Angeles. But folks, you look at the things, just crazy stuff going on. I believe God's trying to get our attention. And you look at this, you go, no, you can't make this up. And Pookie, I missed you on New Year's Eve at Calvary Chapel of the Harbor, by the way. So, bummer. Maybe you can join us in Las Vegas or any of the rest of you. It's going to be a great conference. Okay, I'm going to show you another video. This is definitely You Can't Make This Up. And the seriousness of these insane policies that these people have made because of the DEI stuff they got going. Look at this next one regarding the fires. Look at this. No, you can't make it up.
What in the world? The firemen don't have hoses, so they're like literally using purses? Women's handbags? Filling up women's handbags to put out fires. Look at this. What in the world? LAFD Fire Department using women's handbags to put out fires. What is going on here? Have you guys ever seen this in your life? Look.
So no, you can't make this up. I mean, you're like, are we really living here? I mean, this is the world that we live in? We just sat through the last year with this candidate named Kamala Harris, and you thought to yourself, like most of us did, this is actually a person running for the United States of America. We keep having this, no, we must be living in some kind of nightmare. This is actually happening. And I'm pretty confident most of the firefighters, they really want to do a good job. And they got these insane politicians that have totally tied their hands. It's just nuts. You look at this and go, unbelievable wickedness. But no, you can't make this up. I mean, you don't even have to. This is the world we live in. Well, check this out. Is this all part of the globalist plan? And then again, if you look at the fires, I want you to think of this. Something weird's going on with them, like Maui fires, because they all started in Los Angeles. They seem to be strategically started from what I've seen. So people are saying, was it directed energy weapons? I don't know. All started in Los Angeles. Listen, the fires don't just start. And there was no thunder. There's no lightning. There's no thunderstorm going on, right? No lightning storms. None of that was going on. We hardly ever get those in Southern California anyways. Ton of wind, outrageous wind, very strange wind for the month of January here. It was crazy high-speed winds, which drives the fire. It's very dry out here. Hasn't rained. I don't think it's rained, at least in the area where I live, which would probably, affect all of Southern California, be very similar, even though we're 2 hours outside of LA. But out here, I don't think it's rained since the last rainy season, which would be like springtime. So it's been extremely dry. It hasn't been hot. It's just been dry. It's cold at night and extremely windy. And you start putting things together. You're going, well, how did this? You cut off the insurance for the houses, right? You cut off the water. You ship your fire equipment to Ukraine. You say, hey, we're going to get 500 more. Joe, Ice Cream Man Joe, says, hey, let's give $500 million to Ukraine. This is going to be interesting to see the people who voted for these policies. Now their house is burned down, and now they've got to go to the Planning Commission and say, we want to rebuild. Let's see how the permit process goes, if it goes like it does for everybody else here in California, just the insane things that you got to do out here. Nevertheless, there's some weird stuff going on with these fires. I don't care what anybody says. Whether you're left or right, there's weird stuff going on with these fires that were in Los Angeles, and why those specific neighborhoods, unless it was God's doing. But they started in very strategic positions. Fires don't just start themselves. There are a lot of homeless people in California too. They like to start fires. But let's watch this. Let's watch this video from it's regarding Rockefeller and seeing everything coming together, which kind of interesting. Let's go for it.
At a 1991 closed-door meeting of fellow internationalists, billionaire and former David Rockefeller praised his media allies, but his confidence that his words would not leave the room was later broken.
We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and restricted their promises of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the bright lights of publicity. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march toward a world government.
That these men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire...
Well, is that a surprise to any of us? They seek total, control. Gee, I am so shocked. I did a message at one of the conferences with one of the prophecy conferences, I think it was with Prophecy Watchers a while back, regarding silent weapons that those who are the elite, the deep staters use against the people. Not weapons like we typically think of war, like with guns and bombs, but silent weapons to manipulate the masses and control them. Very interesting stuff going on. And then you look at, again, the fires. Just interesting. It is interesting. It's this very left-leaning neighborhoods that these hit. I think it's kind of interesting. By the way, I like Lynn's comment on here. Lynn has said, God refines with fire and uses the enemy's schemes to show his glory. So the arsonist will push them to Jesus. Good comments there, Lynn. I appreciate that. Check this out. A few things regarding social media and you not being able to talk about what you are wanting to talk about over in the UK. Check this out. A couple of them here for you. UK going after people who repost on social media or just post on social media. Check this out. First video.
No. The Hampshire police would realise how ridiculous this is.
It is ridiculous.
It is. Good. I'm
What to come to this? What
did it need to come to?
Tell us why you escalated it to this level. Because I don't understand. I posted something that he posted. You come to arrest me. You don't arrest him. Why has it come to this? Why am I in cuffs? Because there's something he shared, then I shared.
Because someone has been caused, obviously, anxiety based upon your social media page. That's
not his.
Why you've been arrested.
You reposted something, somebody else posted it, you reposted it, but your repost caused anxiety, but they're not going to arrest the first guy who posted it, but they're going to arrest you because they determined that you create anxiety. All right, well, let's not stop here because there is more. Check out this next video.
Okay, so
What do you mean I can't have any alcohol?
okay, well I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. I'm just
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say anything that may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later are in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're
arrested?
going to be arrested, okay?
Right,
So you
and-
got to the police station.
Right.
Actually, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, arrested for a Facebook crime. Showed that one a while back. I wanted to re-show it because now I have another one for you. This is the last one, and then we're going to start connecting these things. Check out this last one.
The UK government actually just spent taxpayer dollars to tell all of their citizens that reading The Lord of the Rings or George Orwell might lead to adoption of right-wing extremism. Your tax dollars just paid for this. This is part of the larger counter-terrorism program called PREVENT under the British government, which also included C.S. Lewis in their repertoire of radical right-wing extremist authors. And they list these books as red flags. So essentially, if you're reading 1984 or The Hobbit or Mere Christianity, you should be suspected, according to the UK government, of being a far-right extremist terrorist. Meanwhile, not to be this person to ask this question, but is there not actual terrorism just running rampant in the UK right now? Like, I feel like the government might have other things to pay attention to. I honest to God never thought
You got it right. I mean, you look at that, you're going, so maybe as you look at these insane things, you saw Zuckerberg. I'm going to show you this video. It was a long speech by him, Zuckerberg, saying, well, we're not going to be the arbiters of what people should be able to speak anymore. We should have a more open platform. And by the way, I'm moving to Texas. We'll see if Zuckerberg really follows through with what he said. But I'm thinking that maybe some of these things are going on because they are afraid of what happened in this Geraldo Rivera interview. several years ago. Maybe they don't want this to happen again. Check this out.
Why are you afraid to let other people speak? Why are you not like other minorities and allow other people to pursue whatever happiness they find in whatever religion they find, whatever color they happen to be? You don't let anybody answer a question, and if you don't have a question like this lady over here, you tell her to shut up. What are you afraid of?
The reason why I do that is because I get sick and tired of hearing the sob stories from kikes. I get sick and tired of seeing Uncle Tom here sucking up, trying to be a white.
Go ahead, Roy, go ahead. No, let me tell you. Hey, you gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. You gotta be kidding. Hey, hold it. Hold it. Sit down.
Wow, that's kind of like going to a hockey game. That was great. So, hey, you look at this and you're thinking, maybe that's, but maybe? I mean, this stuff is just nuts. So that was Geraldo Rivera. Remember him? The guy who was going to discover what was in Al Capone's vault. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that one. I certainly am. Remember that? It was all this great television. Everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's glued to their seats. It's live TV. And there was nothing there. It was fantastic. But, hey, Geraldo Rivera made a name for himself. I mean, I knew Jerry Springer did that kind of stuff. But Geraldo, I don't remember that one. But maybe they just don't want any more things like that happening out there. Very, very interesting. By the way, Keith Ray says, I believe we are in the tribulation. We don't realize it yet. I don't think so, Keith. I mean, I look at this and I know biblically we can't be in the tribulation. There's all these different dynamics of what must take place. One of them is that this covenant has to be confirmed, Daniel chapter 9. That hasn't happened yet. We know I remember hearing, well, it was the sustainable goals of the UN, and that was done a year ago. A year before that, it was something else. A year before that, it was something else. Listen, we are not there yet. We're not in the tribulation period. If somebody could show me something in the Bible that pointed to us being in the tribulation, remember this, Jesus himself said in Matthew chapter 24 and Mark 13 and Luke chapter 21, as these events all begin to take place, he said there will be wars and rumors of wars, increasing, by the way. He said wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in various places, pestilences, kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. And he said, these are the beginning of sorrows, but the end is not yet. And then he goes on to describe what the end is going to look like. And we get a really good idea what the tribulation period is. We certainly haven't had the unveiling of the white horse yet, where the world is essentially conquered without using conventional weapons. It hasn't been there yet. We do live in a place where lawlessness is getting out of control, but it's not abounding to the place that Jesus says it will abound. We haven't had the abomination of desolation yet. That, of course, that takes place at the midpoint of the tribulation. But you look at these various dynamics that must take place during the 7-year period. We haven't had the rider on the red horse yet. We haven't had the rider on the black horse yet. These are all part of the seals that unfold, that appear to unfold very early on. In Revelation chapter 5, the Bible tells us that the redeemed, that's us who are in Christ Jesus, are there before the throne of God, and Jesus, the Lamb who was slain from before the foundation of the world, he's the worthy one who takes the scroll and begins to loosen its seals. The Bible teaches we're going to be there in heaven watching him unloose the seals. That's Revelation chapter 5. So I just don't, I mean, there's numerous things I could go through, but people take the events that are happening in the world, what's happening in Los Angeles with the fires. Listen, this stuff's going to be global. A third of the trees are going to burn up. A third of the green grass is going to burn up. A third of the ships in the sea are going to be destroyed. That could be just the Mediterranean Sea. It could be global on that. But you start looking at these different things. We are not there yet. Revelation chapter 6 with the sixth seal. You have the great earthquake, and the mountains are flattened, and islands disappear. You have the sky receding like a scroll. You could say, well, you can look at the fires in LA, and it's doing that. Well, there's always been fire. So Jesus says, when you see these things, the end is not yet. It's when they all culminate to the extent that the Bible describes, Jesus himself describes, and the book of Revelation also lays out many more details. We haven't been to the place yet of the trumpet judgments with the 200 million demons that go around the earth, stinging people. We haven't been to this place where the mark of the beast has been implemented yet. There's so many things that have not happened yet for both the second half of the tribulation and the first half of the tribulation period. Daniel chapter 9, verse 24, 70 weeks are determined for your people. The week is a 7-year period. We know it's a 7-year period. I've had people send me teachings of people that I know that said, hey, the first seal was loosed back in 1917. The second seal was loosed back in 1985 or whatever it was, these different markers. The third seal was just loosed at the time of COVID, and they extended over this long period of time. Well, according to the way the Bible unfolds, and the Bible gives us Bible prophecy, it is a 7-year period, not a 100-year-long stretch of just the seals themselves. It's a 7-year period. That 7-year period is determined, Daniel, for your people and your holy city. It's the Jews and the city of Jerusalem. And then he goes on to list what these things are, why God has determined this, bring an end of sin, bring in everlasting righteousness. That hasn't happened yet. And in the middle of the week, the 7-year period, Antichrist will confirm the covenant. So we have many things that are going to take place during the time of the beginning of the tribulation period. And we haven't seen those things yet. But the fires in LA, okay, they're localized to LA, but there's always fires. There's always earthquakes. There's always these things, but they ought to have our attention and remind us, once God's judgment begins, it's going to be horrific. Daniel describes it as a day of vengeance this world has never seen. Jesus described it as a day of vengeance this world has never seen. Amos described it as a day of vengeance that's so bad that you should not even wish it upon anyone. In fact, the way Jesus describes it is as things increase to the tribulation period, it's going to be far more horrific than anything this world has ever witnessed before. So we are not there yet. There's been massive earthquakes. There's been big wars. But everything is heading that direction. All right, check out this next article. I got a couple more things for you. Michigan to clear 420 acres of trees in state forest for solar farm. Wait a minute. I thought we weren't allowed to cut down any trees. Well, you can if it's in name of these insane globalist policies to destroy everything, put you on solar that I can tell you right now doesn't work that great even where it's sunny. Just not too far from here, I can drive out there in the desert and they got these wind farms out there. You want to know what? It takes a whole bunch of petroleum just to run one of those giant, stupid fan things, propeller, those things are ginormous. They look like they come out of a Stephen King movie. Those things are huge. It takes a ton of petroleum to make them. And you want to know what? A whole bunch of them are broken now because they've been out there for years. So what are they going to do with those stupid things now? Well, let's just go bury them somewhere else. Listen, they don't really care about the environment, and the proof is what's going on in Michigan. Let's level all these trees out here and bring in solar. That really, you need a whole lot of sunshine to make solar work. How do you think solar is going to work out right now for all you folks who are in Michigan? You guys know this is idiotic, but your governor there is as bad as our governor here. But you look at this stuff and you think, man, just crazy stuff that people try to cram down our throats. And it's what hypocrites. Well, you're not allowed to do this, but we are. You can't cut down a tree in your own front yard, but we're going to go and level these things, and we're going to force everybody on solar that doesn't work, and we're going to make you drive an electric car. Okay, check this out. I want to give you a tip of the week. Here it is, and this is to make sure that you rightly interpret the book of Revelation. Here's your tip of the week. Watch this very short video.
I'm just getting this image of the throne room of God, that the elders are castrating themselves in front of the Lord. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful picture.
See, folks, I tell you, this is why many people should not even teach the book of Revelation. When you hear these pastors say you can't even understand the book of Revelation, I'm guessing it's somebody like that, castrating themselves before the Lord. Oh, such a beautiful picture. Prostrating themselves before the Lord, bowing down before the Lord. Oh, you're right. You're right. I think maybe some of these people are right. They should not be teaching the book of Revelation. Listen, if you're going to teach the book of Revelation, make sure that you rightly interpret it and read it for what it says. You can read the right words in English if you can read. Anyways, thank you for joining me today. Hey, listen, join us in Vegas if you can. Pray for us in Mexico. Which guy, Caterlin, is nuts? Am I the one that's nuts? Caterlin said this guy's nuts. Well, you're not allowed back on here, Caterlin. I can't believe she just said that about me. I am hurt. I gotta leave. I'm hurt. Nah. Hey, so anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Vegas, if you could join us live or online or in person, be great. Pray for us in Mexico. We leave tonight. Gonna be interesting. Really appreciate that. And then that's it. Okay, I'm done. I'll see ya. Peace out. Now I gotta get rid of my Billy Crone jacket. Okay, bye.